Good evening, folks. I know it's late, but we're going to make this video anyway. So I got a whole list of stuff we're going to want to talk about, but we're going to break it up, okay? We're going to do it in parts because it's late tonight. I just did want to get to you and talk to you about a few things. Tomorrow, when I'm out of work at a more reasonable hour, we will have probably 2 videos. So let's start with tonight. Number 1. The conversation over Sophie Cunningham's injury should now officially be closed. On Sophie Cunningham's own podcast, she has stated that her injury was not deliberate and she was not targeted. Okay? It was an unfortunate basketball injury. There is no conspiracy. There was no planned targeting by the Connecticut Sun to get back at her. She actually knows Bree Hartley, and she openly stated she was not injured intentionally. That should close the subject. She is the person who was injured. She was present on the court. So she is telling you now the subject is closed. End of story. Okay? We're done with this. That's number 1. Number 2, I could make you a list of people out there who really irritate me in their commentary. They were people that I used to look in on and watch. I only watch them now to see what they're lying about this week, okay? So right now, we have 2 people that really piss me off. Skip Bayless, who is now out there publicly questioning whether Caitlin Clark is really injured or if she's just faking it to take a break and emotionally recover from being targeted physically by other players in the league. And then we have Jason Whitlock, who is nothing more than a misogynist on every possible level, who is now saying that perhaps Caitlin Clark is faking her injuries because of her high number of turnovers and her poor three-point shooting. On what possible level would a professional basketball team allow a player to fake an injury? Does anyone ever think about that? And I'm wondering if these guys just assume that you're all that stupid. Do you seriously believe that the Indiana Fever has a player under contract that they are allowing to fake an injury to stay out of the limelight? Do you seriously think that Caitlin Clark is that person? Caitlin Clark is as tough as nails. That's the first thing. The second thing is she discussed turnover rates and says she can't be as daring in the pros as she was in college. And she knows that. And as far as her three-point shooting is concerned, yeah, it's down from last year. She has been injured for the better part of this season. And she has had groin injuries. And we know she was coming back from those injuries too soon now. Now we know that. We know that. We know she was never at 100% in between all of those injuries. And if Caitlin Clark can't use her legs effectively, she can't shoot three-pointers as effectively as she can when she's healthy. It's a simple, simple equation. Basic math, okay? If you want to look at it that way. What you have now is a bunch of people who just can't stop. The real toxic targeting in the WNBA doesn't come on the court. It comes from the court of public opinion. And the people who have YouTube channels who spread this utter bullshit without any kind of repercussion. You know, if you ever would have put this in print, you could be sued for slander. On the internet, you can say anything you want about anybody you want without any repercussion whatsoever. And you know something? I firmly believe that is something that needs to change in the future. There needs to be more accountability for people who spread misinformation like this and pure and utter lies. Because now here we have it. We had all of these same people talking about the fact that Caitlin Clark was coming back from her injuries too quickly and they needed to keep her out longer. Now we're keeping her out longer. And she's faking her illnesses. She's faking her injuries. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's a no-win situation. So let's get something else out on the table here, because you're going to hear about this all over the place now. This is the talk of the town. About, I don't know, whenever they were in Phoenix, Caitlin Clark was rehabbing in Phoenix. This is what she does. Now, Sophie Cunningham has said that Caitlin Clark spends about 8 hours a day rehabbing from this injury. So while she was rehabbing from the injury, she tweaked her ankle. Now, let's keep in mind that she tweaked her ankle twice in her rookie year. And she came back and played, both times in the same game. As far as Caitlin Clark is concerned, if you don't tweak your ankles, you're not a baller. That's exactly what she said when she was asked about those injuries. So yes, she tweaked her ankle while working back from this groin injury during rehab. Okay? According to the Indiana Fever, it is not keeping her from rehabbing from the groin injury and is not a factor in when she comes back from the game. Comes back to the game from the groin injury. So in other words, she is not out now because of the ankle. And that's what you're going to hear. But that's not the case. She's still rehabbing from the groin injury. But we are going to make this, it's already out there. Ben Daniels is already making a big deal of this. It's already being made a big deal. I will put the article about the ankle tweaking thing from the Indiana Star in the body of this newsletter. I mean, the body of this video, so you can look at it yourself. So that is the newest controversy surrounding Caitlin Clark. Apparently, you can't even roll your ankle or tweak your ankle or bruise your ankle without it becoming a major conspiracy theory. It's incredible. This is when sports and fans become toxic. But I maintain, frankly, that none of these people that are doing this are really fans of Caitlin Clark. What they're fans of is blowing up their channel. And that's what they do. They twist, they lie, they exaggerate, they create fear, uncertainty, and doubt among the general masses so that people keep coming back for more. It's like an addiction for Americans. Drama and conspiracy theories. So that's all I've got for you for tonight. I wanted you to know about the ankle thing because you're going to start seeing it everywhere. But talk about Caitlin Clark coming back is ramping up, okay? In fact, the date of the 26th is still floating around out there. Don't know if that's true or not, because what I heard from Stephanie White, and this was already reported in one of my videos, maybe about five, six videos ago, they were planning on getting her back into practice the week of the 22nd. Okay? And she would need several days of practice before returning to any kind of game. And I'm going to warn you right now, When she comes back, she will be on minutes restriction. And it won't be because Stephanie White doesn't want her playing. It'll be because that's the prudent step to take when someone has been out of game shape for over a month. And that is to protect her from getting re-injured. So as long as we understand that, we're good here. That's basically it for tonight. I will be back tomorrow afternoon. I've got a whole list of stuff we want to talk about. And again, a lot of it based on total misinformation that you're hearing about the team, they're not getting along, and all of that stuff. Okay? So before I shut this down, I just want to say Sophie Cunningham is scheduled for surgery on Friday. Okay? What I hope is that she comes out of that surgery. She takes whatever time she needs before she gets back into any kind of rehab situation. And we want Sophie Cunningham back on the Indiana Fever with a multi-year contract at the end of the day. Sophie Cunningham is a keeper. We need her. I will talk to you all later.